rules. I don't want anybody to tell me what to do. I don't want somebody to tell me when to get up, when to go to bed. I just want to be free. You know, when you become a senior, we call it senioritis because you just want out. You're willing to shuck everything. You know, you just want out. Man, I'm going to get out of this. You know, I'm just going to dust I'm just going to get the dirt off my feet, dust this crummy town off. I'm out of here. You know, I don't want to. And what we find is, as a senior, I mean, you leave church. You primarily leave your family because you're working all the time and going to school and doing whatever it is you do, and you're never home because you don't want to. You just want out. You want freedom. And now that we're headed into the last 2 weeks of school, it's your battle cry. I mean, you get up and your feet hit the floor going, I got 27 hours of school left. I'm free. I'm paroled finally from my prison. You know, here's the thing about freedom when you study God's Word. Do you know the only place God said we ever have freedom is when we're in Him perfectly? Do you know what happens when you graduate? You go to college or you go to a job, and guess what? You're still not free. I hate to burst your bubble for some of you that just went out, but getting out, you're trading one prison for another. There's no freedom is Satan's ultimate lie to a teenager. If I can just get free of the rules, I'll be happy. No, you won't. Because the only true freedom you have is when you're living inside God's boundaries. Then you have freedom. But as long as you're fighting the boundaries and fighting to get out, I want out! It's the wrong time to want out. It's not the right time for freedom. Do you know the only time we're going to be free from sin is when Jesus Christ comes back? Up to that point, the psalmist said that this world groans under the pain of sin. We're never going to have freedom from that. But as teenagers, you want freedom. And I'm here to tell you that it's not the right time for freedom. You know, there's a verse in Proverbs that says, a child left to himself brings his mother shame. Do you know what forcing yourself into freedom will get you? Parents that are embarrassed. The next thing that some of you want, and by the way, I have watched some of you girls systematically destroy yourself trying to get this one. You just want a boyfriend. You just want a girlfriend. You just want somebody to love you. You want somebody to pay attention to you. You want to be in a relationship. And you are willing to sacrifice everything to get there. You will date Snake. You will sneak around on your parents. You will do everything you can because you have to have a boyfriend and you have to have a girlfriend. Let me tell you. God said this, by the way, in verse 11 of this same chapter. It says that God had made everything beautiful in His time. Do you understand? And here's the really scary, probably the scariest thing I'm going to say to some of you. Do you understand at this point in your life, God may not want you to have a boyfriend? God may not want you to have a girlfriend? Do you understand at this point in your life, God may be surrounding you so that you cannot have that relationship right now because He is saving your knight in shining armor for you around the corner? And if you're dating Snake, the night ain't going to come around. You don't like snakes and bugs. You know, some of you girls, I swear, when you go on your front porch and you find a can of Raid with a bow on it, you'll know it was me. Because you need some bug spray. Because you've got bugs all around you. And you can't find a boyfriend because of all the snakes and bugs around. But man, how many times have we watched teenagers, especially girls, guys are guilty too, but girls, almost kill themselves to get a relationship? Maybe it's not the right time. Maybe it's not the right time. You know, we want to force that timing into our lives. You guys really like that one. Now, some of you are going to say, authority? It's the wrong time to have authority. There's this thing that happens in every 9th grader's life, this 8th grader that goes to 9th grade. He finds himself or herself being the big dog in middle school, and in 9th grade they're the little teeny fish in the great big pond. And then this weird thing happens, this pecking order happens where as the years progress, those same... I won't say that. Those same individuals that were at the top of the pecking order in 8th grade, when they become seniors, are now picking on the freshmen. And they totally forget that they were the ones getting stuffed in lockers 3 years ago. And they were the ones getting beat up 3 years ago. And in their lives, and in each of our lives, I will tell you, there is a pecking order, and we want to be at the top. We want the authority in our group. We want to be the king. We want to be the leader of our pack. We want authority. Now, you guys don't view it as authority, but that's what it really is. You guys call it the popular people. Some of you call them the preps. And every school has their little name for it. Those teenagers that seem to be at the top of the food chain, and everybody must bow down and worship as they pass. Do you know? Maybe it's not the right time. And hear me, maybe it's not the right time for some of you to have authority. But you force yourself to the top. You force yourself to be the king of the pack. And I will tell you, it's not the right time. If you're supposed to be the leader, then God will bring you to the place of leadership when He's ready to have you to be the leader. Some of you think, I have to have a job. Now, if you're out here working, please understand, remember, I did not write this with anybody in mind. But if the shoe fits, you need to wear it. Some of you have substituted, and hear me, you have substituted your teenage years for work. And you think the only way it's going, you have to have a job, you have to work. Most of you in this room do not have to have a job. You want a job because it relates back to the money. Mom and Dad said, you can't do this until you have the money. So now you are sacrificing your whole teenage years so you can work, so you can have a car that's going to be in a junkyard in 5 years anyway. But you have to have a job. Maybe it's not the right time.
I'm going to just leave that one. I'm not worried about it. Because I could dive in the deep end.
Now, I was just going to write the word sex, but I decided not to. Because Miss Jo, it might filter down through the thing, and Miss Jo would hear the word, and then she'd be like, oh no. Hear me clearly. I'm going to say this unequivocally. Okay? If you are experiencing intimacy right now, it's wrong. It's dead wrong. You say, well, Dad, we're not having sex. That's not the word I used. That's not the word I used. Obviously, there's not one person in this room, if they were honest with themselves, would not know instinctively that having premarital sex is wrong. That's why you hide. That's why you're in the back seats of cars. That's why you're hiding in the bedrooms, hiding. That's why you're hiding with that. Okay? So let's just set that one aside for a minute, because every one of you in here know that that's wrong. Whether you're a Christian or not, you know that's wrong. That's why you're hiding something. Okay? So let's just back down the road a little bit. And I want you to understand something. And maybe we as a church and we as leaders have been too pansy